Hey everyone, welcome to Billion Stories. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, we are facing massive demand for many services. This means that we have more work to do than ever before. We have to figure out how to handle the additional demand and how to be able to provide our clients with quality service. You can take it as an opportunity to start and grow your own small business. But if you don't know what kind of business to start, don't worry, you are in the right place. In this video, we are going to share with you 52 small business ideas that I think you should consider starting in 2022. Number 1. Blogging. Blogging is an excellent way for avid writers to earn a source of supplementing income from home. Many people start a blog to share insights, express their views, and establish a brand. You can start a blog about anything, like a travel blog, food blog, or book blog. Researching some of the most popular blog ideas can also help you find a profitable niche. Some of the most common ways to make money blogging are through advertising and affiliate marketing. Selling products and doing brand sponsorships are other popular monetization methods. To have a profitable blog, it's essential to find a niche and be consistent with posting content. These factors are also crucial when building an audience and having successful marketing and search engine optimization strategies. Number 2. Join an affiliate program. Joining an affiliate marketing program is a great way to make money online. Earn a commission as an affiliate by promoting products, services, or businesses on different platforms. When a customer clicks on an affiliate link and completes a purchase, you earn a percentage. Many affiliates have found success in this industry, with 35% revealing that they earn at least $20,000 per year. Signing up to more than one affiliate network is one way to gain more opportunities and make additional money. With so many affiliate programs and networks to choose from, make sure to join the ones that fit your niche. For instance, if you have a blog dedicated to computers and technology, you can become a Hostinger affiliate. One of the biggest affiliate networks, it offers rates between 1% and 10%. Some of the biggest mistakes to avoid in affiliate marketing include choosing the wrong niche, not producing quality content, and ignoring website performance. Number 3. Build an e-commerce website. Selling products online is one of the best ways to make money from home, especially since retail e-commerce sales continue to rise and is expected to surpass $7 trillion in 2025. More and more brick-and-mortar stores are also turning to e-commerce due to its advantages. Apart from having a broader market reach, e-commerce stores require lower startup costs. For example, you don't need to rent different retail locations to scale operations. Before launching an e-commerce business, it's essential to decide the store's niche. If you're unsure, researching trending products helps to narrow down which types of products to sell online. Creating an online store today also couldn't be easier, even for beginners, thanks to the growth of e-commerce platforms. However, picking the right one is an important decision since the platform will contribute to your and your customers' overall experience. Number 4. Become a freelance writer. Freelancing is a great way to make money online. Freelancing is when you work independently for different companies as an independent contractor. Many people start freelancing when they're looking for a new career or want to make extra money. Freelancing is also great for those who are looking to change their career path or move into a different industry. Freelancing can be done from anywhere as long as you have an internet connection and an updated computer. The best way to start is by becoming a freelance writer. Writing blogs, articles, and books can be a great way to start a freelance career. You can also do freelance writing for local and national companies, or even for other writers. Many sites allow freelancers to apply for projects. To make money online as a freelance writer, you'll need to have a strong portfolio of work to show potential clients. Having a unique skill set can be a great advantage when it comes to freelancing, so try to develop your writing skills and grow your portfolio. Number 5. Become a project manager. Project management is an excellent business idea to build a stable income and work from home. A project manager is responsible for overseeing the projects of different departments of an organization. This requires a lot of multitasking skills and patience. As a project manager, you can manage and direct different teams of employees, such as a team of web developers, a team of graphic designers, etc. The demand for project managers is growing due to the increased number of companies outsourcing their projects. Project managers often work remotely, which allows them to work around their schedules and locations. Some of the most popular project management platforms are Asana, Slack, and Trello. Number 6. Become a social media manager. Social media management is one of the most popular business ideas to make money online. A social media manager is responsible for managing social media accounts and creating a positive image for the company. It's one of the most competitive careers, with an average salary of $50,000 a year. A social media manager is also known as a social media marketer, social media consultant, or digital marketer. To become a social media manager, it's essential to know how to create engaging content and manage different social media platforms. The most popular social media platforms include Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Some of the most popular social media management tools include Hootsuite, Buffer, and Sprout Social. Number 7. Become a freelance developer. If you are a creative person and love coding, then freelance development might be the perfect job option for you. Freelance developers are needed by all types of businesses, whether they're small or large. Freelance developers are responsible for creating websites, applications, mobile apps, and other software. The pay for freelance developers depends on the company, but it can vary between $25 and $100 per hour. For starters, it's essential to gain some coding skills. For example, you can get a basic understanding of HTML and CSS and start making money as a freelance developer with these skills. Some of the most popular freelance development platforms are Upwork, Freelancer, and Codable. Number 8. Get into the childcare business. There's a demand for childcare professionals, and it's one of the fastest growing industries. The Bureau of Labor Statistics projects that the number of childcare positions will grow by 16% between 2020 and 2026. While many parents still opt to stay at home, a growing number of families are hiring childcare providers to look after their children. There are several types of childcare businesses, including daycares, centers, and family-style businesses. You can start a childcare business by opening a daycare or preschool or starting your own family-style childcare business. For a daycare, you'll need to find an adequate location and be able to hire employees. You can start this type of business by applying for a license and paying an annual fee. For a family-style childcare business, you'll need to buy a house or rent an apartment and hire employees. Number 9. Become a virtual fitness trainer. Fitness and health are two of the most popular online industries. The virtual fitness trainer industry is growing at a fast pace, making it a viable business idea. The popularity of fitness apps, exercise classes, and workout videos online are why there's a huge market for fitness trainers. People want to stay fit, and fitness experts can help them achieve their goals. A fitness trainer can help people lose weight, tone up, and improve their overall health and fitness levels. This type of business is perfect for people who want to be their boss and work from home. You can make money as a fitness trainer by providing individual and group fitness classes. Many fitness trainers can charge around $50 for a half-hour session, depending on their experience. To succeed in this industry, it's essential to be well-versed with fitness apps, equipment, and online workout routines. As a fitness trainer, you can also use your knowledge of nutrition and meal plans to help clients lose weight and achieve their fitness goals. Number 10. Become a web developer. The web development industry is one of the most popular online businesses. Developers create websites, mobile applications, and software, among other things. Web developers are responsible for creating the backend of a website or app. They also need to manage a team of other designers and coders to make sure the website or app is functioning properly. Many web developers are freelancers who work on projects for clients. They can charge anywhere from $100 to $400 per hour, depending on the type of project they're working on. To succeed in this industry, it's important to know what kind of programming languages are used to build websites and mobile apps. You can also take online web development courses to gain more knowledge about programming languages and the web. Number 11. Become an executive assistant. An executive assistant is someone who takes care of the tasks and responsibilities of an executive. The position involves coordinating meetings, scheduling appointments, and managing an employee's time. Executive assistants usually have an office job, but there are also opportunities to work remotely from home. The average annual salary of an executive assistant is $40,000. However, it varies depending on the size and type of company. The best way to succeed in this career is to be organized, patient, and efficient. It's also essential to know how to communicate with clients and keep them happy. Number 12. Cleaning service. Most people struggle to make ends meet, and most of us would love to quit our 9-to-5 jobs and start our own cleaning service. This is a business that provides you with the opportunity to work part-time hours while generating a full-time income. There are several ways to start your cleaning service, including offering your services in your neighborhood or apartment complex. However, a better option is to use online platforms such as TaskRabbit.com. You can either set up your profile or refer to someone else's. You can set the price, pick the type of service you offer, and select your area of expertise. This online platform helps connect you with local clients who are looking for house cleaners. Number 13. Amazon Kindle Publishing. One of the fastest growing industries in the world is ebooks, and Kindle publishing is a perfect business for anyone looking to make money online. Kindle publishing is a simple and fast way to create ebooks that are compatible with Kindle, Apple, Android, and other devices. All you need is a computer and a copy of Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing platform. To make money, simply upload your ebook onto the Amazon platform and make it available for sale. Many people make a decent living from Kindle publishing, with some earning over $10,000 per month. Number 14. Food delivery service. This is one of the easiest small business ideas to start. It is a proven fact that most people prefer to eat in, rather than cook at home. This is where food delivery services come in handy. Many people are willing to pay to have their food delivered to their doorstep. Some of the best food delivery services are Uber Eats, Foodpanda, and Postmates. There are plenty of websites that offer food delivery services, including Just Eat, Deliveroo, and HelloFresh. Number 15. Property management. It's a smart idea to turn a property into a real estate investment. While it takes a lot of money and time to turn a property into a profitable business, it's one of the best ways to make money online. There are two types of real estate investments: passive and active. Passive real estate investments involve buying properties and renting them out, while active real estate investments require you to manage the properties yourself. Managing a property is time-consuming, but if you know what you're doing, you can make it worth your while. Number 16. Web design agency. Web design is an in-demand service. Many people are willing to pay for a professional web design. But not everyone knows how to design websites or has the right skills. Fortunately, there are many platforms online that allow you to build a website for a small fee. Some of these platforms include Squarespace, Weebly, Wix, and WordPress. You can also build your website using your favorite software and templates. However, if you don't have the skills or resources to design a website, you can hire a professional web designer to do the job for you. Number 17. Coffee shop. Coffee shops are a great way to make money online. This type of business requires minimal startup costs, but the key to making it work is consistent quality and customer service. Most people prefer a coffee shop over a fast food restaurant since coffee shops are usually clean and inviting. A lot of people also visit a coffee shop to socialize. While there's no fixed number of coffee shops, there are several ways to make money as a coffee shop owner. First, you can sell your coffee beans and roasts. Next, you can create and sell your specialty blends. You can also offer catering services for private parties and events. Finally, you can become a barista and sell coffee drinks. Number 18. Sell online courses. Making money from online courses is an excellent way to make money online. You can easily create an online course and sell it to people around the world. An online course is a series of lessons that teach people about a specific topic. There are numerous benefits to creating an online course, especially for busy professionals. For starters, you don't need any prior knowledge or experience to create an online course. Also, you don't have to worry about setting up a physical office space to conduct workshops or meetings. Another benefit is that you don't have to pay employees or rent offices. Furthermore, online courses are cost-effective compared to other online learning platforms, such as Udemy. To make money online, you'll need to create an online course, promote it, and sell it to people. To make money from your online course, you can sell your courses on websites like Udemy and Teachable. You can also sell courses on your website or sell them to your followers on social media. Number 19. Video editor. Video editors are some of the most in-demand professionals online. They can be hired to edit videos, film clips, and photos. There are numerous ways to make money online as a video editor. First, you can find freelance jobs on websites like Upwork and Freelancer.com. Second, you can post ads on popular freelancing sites such as Fiverr. Third, you can create your own online video editing business. You can either create online courses to teach others how to edit videos, or you can create video content for other businesses. Fourth, you can sell your video editing services on websites like Vimeo and Vidler. Last, you can even launch an online video editing company. Number 20. Handmade crafts. If you're interested in making money from home, you should consider starting a handmade crafts business. There are plenty of ways to make money from handmade crafts. For instance, you can sell your crafts on Etsy.com, an e-commerce platform that connects buyers and sellers of handmade items. The best part is that you don't need any previous experience to start a handmade crafts business. All you need is a craft room and some basic materials to start selling your handmade goods. Number 21. Teach English online. Teaching English online is one of the most popular ways to make money online. With more than 2.5 billion English speakers worldwide, there's a huge demand for English teachers. You can teach English online from anywhere in the world and you don't have to worry about visas or student visa requirements. The good news is that you don't need to have any prior teaching experience to become a teacher. There are many online courses designed to teach English language learners. Some of the most popular online courses are TESOL, TEFL, and CLTA. Number 22. Car wash. A car wash business is a small business that offers cleaning services to cars and other vehicles. This type of business usually requires minimal startup capital and high profits. It also provides a steady stream of income. Some car washes offer a free service, and the owners receive a percentage of every sale. Car wash services are typically offered on weekends, and there are two types of car washes: independent and chain. Independent car washes usually charge a flat fee for their services, while chain washes usually charge per vehicle. Number 23. Podcasting. Podcasting is the art of recording audio and uploading it to the internet for others to listen to. In a podcasting business, you will record and host a podcast. Podcasts are great because you can easily share them on social media platforms. They are also a great way to build a following and gain exposure. Some people start a podcasting business to make money, while others do it as a hobby. Number 24. Laundry. Laundry businesses are another great business idea that is easy to start and run. A laundry business does not require a lot of startup capital. It also allows you to work from home and have a flexible schedule. This business is great for those who like to be around people. You can start a laundry business as an individual, or you can open a franchise. There are several steps to becoming a successful laundry business owner. First, choose a niche and location. Second, determine the best way to advertise. Third, train your employees and set up systems. Finally, follow up on leads and collect payment. Number 25. Get into nonprofit work. Nonprofits are often associated with philanthropic causes such as helping animals, the environment, and other people. Nonprofit work businesses are also referred to as social enterprises. People often join nonprofit organizations to make a difference in the world. These organizations can be involved in a variety of activities, including community service, fundraising, and advocacy. The average salary for a nonprofit worker is around $40,000. The success of a nonprofit organization is determined by its ability to raise money and donations. Most nonprofit workers are employees of a nonprofit organization, but you can also find freelance nonprofit work. Number 26. Mobile game developer. A mobile game developer business is another small business idea that can be started from home. Mobile games are a huge part of the video game industry, and the number of mobile game developers is growing. If you're interested in making mobile games, you can easily make money by selling them on the App Store or Google Play. You can also charge other people to develop games for your company. You should focus on a niche in the mobile game development industry. Number 27. Phone accessories. Making and selling phone accessories is a great business idea for people who enjoy crafting and sewing. There are many online platforms where you can sell your handmade phone cases and accessories, including Etsy, eBay, and Amazon. To make more money, you can also create your products and sell them on your website. Number 28. Translator. Translating is one of the most popular freelance jobs online. It's a great way to make extra money from home because the work is flexible, fast, and easy to do. You can translate content into any language, including English, Spanish, French, Chinese, Arabic, and more. Some of the best freelance translation platforms are Google Translate, Align, and TransPerfect. Translation can be a lucrative side hustle, but make sure to charge a fair rate. Also, make sure you have a good grasp of the target language and have a background in it. Number 29. Tutor. Tutoring is a great way to earn some extra money while helping others. You can tutor people online in a variety of subjects, including language, math, and science. Tutors are usually paid hourly or per project. If you're interested in tutoring, there are multiple platforms you can use, such as Google Meet, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Skype. Number 30. Nanny. Nannies make great side hustles for parents who need a little help with childcare. This is a great option for stay-at-home moms and dads who would love to spend more time with their kids. While this job can be stressful at times, it's also a great way to make money online. It doesn't matter what age your kids are, whether they're infants, toddlers, or teens. Nannies typically have the flexibility to choose the day and time they work. They also don't have to follow a strict schedule, and they can take breaks when needed. Parents can also choose to hire a nanny part-time or full-time. If you're interested in becoming a nanny, it's important to know the different types of jobs available and understand the responsibilities. Number 31. IT consulting. In the 21st century, technology plays a vital role in our daily lives. The way we communicate, shop, and travel has changed dramatically over the past few years. As a result, there are countless online courses and platforms to help you learn how to use technology. Whether you want to learn about programming, web development, data analytics, or other topics, there are several ways to make money online as a technology consultant. Some of the most popular platforms to teach and learn online are Coursera, Lynda, and Udemy. If you're interested in learning about technology, it's essential to first choose a specialization. Once you have a niche, it's time to invest in a quality laptop and high-speed internet. Number 32. On-demand printing business. Printing is one of the oldest forms of marketing. For centuries, businesses have relied on printed ads and brochures to promote their brand. The process of printing hasn't changed much since the earliest days of printing. With the emergence of online advertising, companies have found it easier and more cost-effective to advertise online rather than using print media. This change in marketing strategy has led to a decline in print advertising and the emergence of online advertising as a leading form of marketing. To capitalize on this trend, on-demand printing businesses have emerged. They allow customers to order printed products and get them delivered via a courier service. One of the most popular methods to make money with on-demand printing is to become an affiliate. This is a great way to start your own on-demand printing business. Many affiliate programs pay a commission on each order that a customer places. The commission rate varies depending on the type of product you're promoting. For example, a $10 book may pay a 10% commission, whereas a $1,000 item may pay a 25% commission. As an affiliate, you don't have to purchase any inventory or keep your inventory in stock. All you need is a website and an affiliate link. Number 33. Handyman. A handyman is someone who specializes in repairing small household items. This occupation is a great source of side income for people who don't have time to work full-time. As a handyman, you can fix your own house and earn a monthly income. To get started, you'll need a reliable truck and equipment such as a hammer, a drill, and a ladder. Once you have everything, set up shop in your local area and start repairing your neighbors' homes. As a handyman, you can earn anywhere from $10 to $60 per hour. Number 34. Event planner. Planning events is a fun way to make money and meet new people. Event planners organize events for big companies such as weddings, birthdays, and corporate events. Depending on the size of the event, you'll be paid either a flat rate or hourly. Event planning is also a great way to expand your networking skills and grow your business network. You'll need to have a reliable car and enough supplies, such as balloons, banners, and confetti, to ensure the event runs smoothly. To find more events to plan, look for events on social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also advertise on Craigslist or in local newspapers. Number 35. Transcriptionist. Transcription is the process of taking handwritten notes and typing them into a computer. It's one of the most in-demand jobs out there. If you have a fast and accurate typing speed, you'll make more money than a transcriptionist who takes longer to type. The average salary for a transcriber is $28 to $36 per hour, with bonuses based on performance. You can earn this income by transcribing audio files from phone calls, interviews, or lectures. However, you'll need to be proficient in a variety of programs to be able to do so, such as Microsoft Word and Audacity. To get started, you can try posting your services on websites like Upwork, Fiverr, and Textbroker. Number 36. Movers. Moving is an excellent way to make money online. If you have a reliable truck and a valid driver's license, you can make up to $50 per hour. Some movers specialize in moving furniture, while others focus on moving entire homes. Other common types of moving jobs include packing and unpacking, which pay between $10 and $25 per hour. As a mover, you can earn a few $100s per month. However, it can be challenging to make money. It's important to be punctual, and you'll have to manage your schedule. Also, you'll need a reliable vehicle and a truck license. Number 37. Antiquities renovation. Renovating an old home can be a fun and rewarding project. There are many ways to make money, including selling antiques, renting the property, and cleaning the house. To make money, you'll need to know how to renovate a house. It's essential to have experience in renovation projects, such as installing walls and flooring, fixing plumbing, and painting the walls. You can also look for online jobs to make money from home. Number 38. Pet care. Pet care businesses are a lucrative choice to make money online. If you're looking to start a pet care business, consider hiring a pet sitter to take care of your furry friends while you're away. With more people spending more time at home, pets are becoming an increasingly popular choice for families. While most pets need regular care, most owners don't have the time to handle their pets. Pet sitters usually charge anywhere from $10 to $15 per hour and can help with feeding, grooming, housekeeping, and other tasks that would otherwise be impossible to complete. Pet sitting can be a full-time job or a part-time one depending on the number of hours needed. Pet care businesses can be run as sole proprietorships or as a corporation. While pet sitting can be a very low-risk business, it is recommended that you obtain liability insurance and work with a local broker who will assist you with licensing requirements. Number 39. Proofreading quality assurance. Proofreading is a lucrative online business opportunity for individuals who can provide a high-quality service. Proofreading, sometimes referred to as copy editing, is a process that ensures the accuracy and quality of writing. A proofreader's main responsibilities include checking grammar, spelling, and punctuation. Proofreading is a skill that takes a lot of practice and training to become proficient. However, if you're already good at grammar, proofreading may be a good addition to your existing skill set. As an online proofreader, you can work from home and accept clients from around the world. There are a variety of ways to make money as a proofreader. You can charge a flat fee for a single project or charge an hourly rate. If you're a freelancer, you can also work on a per-project basis. In addition to proofreading, you can also create content, which can be done as a freelance writer. Number 40. Notary. A notary business can be an excellent way to make money online. Notaries are professionals who perform a variety of legal documents, such as marriage licenses, birth certificates, and deeds. The profession is relatively new, and notaries are often required to complete training before they can practice. Notaries usually need to have a government-issued identification card and a notary stamp that certifies they have completed the necessary training. Notaries typically earn a commission, but they also have to pay for the stamp. Notary businesses can be operated as sole proprietorships or a corporation. The average annual salary is $33,000, with the lowest being $20,000 and the highest being $60,000. If you're looking to get started in a notary business, you'll need to complete the required training and pass a background check. You can also consider registering for a license through the National Association of Notaries, which offers online training. Number 41. Short-term rental manager. Being a short-term rental manager is an easy way to make money online. It's a service offered by Airbnb and other short-term rental platforms where people can list their property as available to rent. A short-term rental is a property that can be rented for a shorter period, typically less than 30 days. The most popular reasons to rent a short-term rental are travel and short-term business. Short-term rentals are popular in major metropolitan areas where it's easier to find a property for rent. If you're interested in getting started as a short-term rental manager, you'll first need to create an account on one of the platforms. Then, you'll need to apply for a listing and select a property. Once you have a property, you'll need to keep it clean and maintain it properly. You can hire cleaners or maintenance services to help you with this. Short-term rental managers can also earn extra income through advertising. For example, you can place a sign on your property's front lawn. Number 42. Personal shopper. Personal shoppers are people who match clients with products. Personal shoppers are typically hired by retailers to shop for products and then make recommendations to clients. There are a variety of online personal shopping platforms like Shopify and Amazon. To become a personal shopper, you first need to sign up for a platform. Once you've registered, you can browse through product listings and search for products. Next, you'll need to meet your client and go to stores or websites to buy products. Afterward, you'll need to send the client a list of products. Some shoppers also provide additional services like gift wrapping or delivery services. Number 43. Landscaper. If you love gardening, you can start a landscaping business to make money online. Most homeowners hire a landscaper to help them maintain their lawns and gardens. This is a great way to earn a few extra dollars, especially since the average landscaper earns an annual salary of $25,000 to $50,000. The best part of starting a landscaping business is that you can easily build your clientele base. If you create attractive websites and offer free quotes, you can expect to have a large number of customers. Also, it's essential to provide quality services. Landscapers should know how to take care of different types of plants and flowers. You can start a landscaping business by either starting your own landscaping business or working for a landscaper company. Either way, make sure you research local laws and regulations and contact local municipalities to determine licensing requirements. Number 44. Gift kit creator. Gift kits are a great way to make money online, especially if you enjoy creating gifts. Gift kits are simple items such as greeting cards, wrapping paper, and gift tags that are packaged in a box and sent to customers. Gift kits are perfect for making money online because they can be shipped anywhere and cost less than other options. You can also create different kits for birthdays, weddings, holidays, and other special occasions. To create a gift kit, you can start with an idea, such as a birthday gift kit or wedding gift kit. Make sure to come up with ideas that stand out and are unique. If you're a creative person, you'll find it fun and rewarding to create gift kits. To create a successful gift kit business, you'll have to develop a strong customer base and know how to ship products. Number 45. Travel planner. Planning travel is a great way to make money online, especially if you enjoy planning trips. Traveling is one of the most enjoyable activities for most people. Many people travel for work or leisure. Planning a trip can be challenging, especially since there are so many factors to consider. Planning a vacation requires careful consideration, such as flight schedules and destination details. If you have the time and the necessary skills, it's easy to earn extra money by helping others plan their trips. Travel agents charge a fee for their services. You can also make money by offering your services for free. If you want to make money, it's essential to find a niche. For instance, if you specialize in Europe, you can offer your services to travelers planning their trips to Europe. To start a travel planner business, you'll need to learn about the different types of trips and develop a system to help clients plan their trips. You can also market your services online. The best part of starting a travel planner business is that it's not difficult to scale up. You can also work part-time or full-time. Number 46. Influencer. There's a growing trend of influencers who make a living from sharing their opinions online. Influencers, also known as bloggers, make a good income online by sharing their views on topics that they are passionate about. Some bloggers use social media platforms to reach a wider audience, while others use blogs and podcasts. The best part of starting an influencer business is that it's relatively easy to make money. To start an influencer business, you don't need a large budget. All you need is a computer, an internet connection, and an opinion. The best way to make money from an influencer business is through sponsored posts. Brands pay influencers to share their products and promote them. Some influencers make money through affiliate marketing, but this requires a lot of upfront work and is a more labor-intensive method. Number 47. Thrifting reseller. Another great way to make money online is to start a thrifting reseller business. Thrift shops are a great source of second-hand goods. These stores usually sell items at a lower price than traditional stores. The advantage of starting a thrifting reseller business is that it's easy to scale. The only thing you need to do is visit thrift stores, find the most popular items, and list them on eBay. Once you make enough sales, you can continue buying items at thrift stores to resell them online. To make money from a thrifting reseller business, you'll need to be a customer and purchase items from thrift stores. If you don't want to deal with the hassle of buying items from thrift stores, you can also buy from online thrifting sites. Number 48. Publicist. A publicist is a person or company that represents celebrities, athletes, authors, and politicians. They help to promote a person or business by helping them to gain exposure. In return, a publicist is paid a fee for each campaign they help to run. Publicists may also work for free, especially when the client is a friend or family member. A publicist's job is to develop and execute a marketing strategy that increases the brand's popularity and awareness. It's essential to understand the audience, their needs, and the industry before starting a public relations campaign. It's also important to identify the best channels for reaching the target audience. Publicists may also need to reach influencers and media outlets, as well as create press releases and write articles. There are multiple ways to make money as a publicist, including promoting brands and products, working for publications, and creating public relations campaigns. Number 49. Voiceover. Voiceovers are professional narrators who read aloud audio files or recordings on behalf of clients. Many people use them to record and produce podcasts, audiobooks, and voiceovers for videos. If you have a great voice, it's possible to make decent money recording voiceovers for businesses. The number of voiceover projects that are created is growing rapidly. The demand for voiceovering services is high because of the many platforms that allow users to share their voice recordings. One of the most popular is the podcast industry. Number 50. Grant writing. Writing a grant is one of the best small business ideas to make money online. You can write grants for a variety of purposes, including arts, education, and social causes. Most government agencies have an online portal where they accept applications and issue grants. The process usually takes about 30 days to complete, and the average grant amount is $50,000. The key to successful grant writing is understanding what makes a good application. If you have a passion for a particular cause, consider writing a grant related to it. For example, if you love music, why not write a grant for a music festival? The best way to start is by brainstorming a list of topics. Next, search the internet to see if you can find an organization or foundation that might be interested in funding your idea. Number 51. Photographer. If you enjoy taking photos, it's possible to make a living as a photographer. Photographers are often hired to take pictures of events, sports, and concerts. If you're passionate about a certain subject, you can also offer your services as a wedding photographer, portrait photographer, or commercial photographer. It's also possible to make money by selling your images on stock photo websites. For instance, Getty Images, Shutterstock, and Adobe Stock are some of the most popular sites to sell photos. When you join a stock photo website, it's essential to have a portfolio that shows your work. Some photographers charge a flat rate, while others offer discounts for clients that order more than 10 images. Other businesses hire photographers to take pictures at events, such as parties, weddings, and business meetings. Number 52. Dropshipping store business. Dropshipping is a popular online business model for those who have no experience in e-commerce or running an online store. The idea behind dropshipping is that you import products from overseas suppliers and sell them at a discounted rate. This method is great for newbie entrepreneurs because it requires minimal startup capital and doesn't require you to run a full-fledged e-commerce store. Dropshipping is also a great choice for anyone looking to enter the market with low risk. There are several ways to make money dropshipping, including affiliate marketing, product sourcing, and wholesale deals. To have a successful dropshipping business, you must have a website that showcases your products. A website is a great place to create a portfolio of your work and also display your inventory. You can either buy your domain or use an inexpensive hosting plan and a WordPress theme. Once you have a website, it's essential to optimize it and set up a sales funnel. I hope you found this video useful and informative. Please give us a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe because more incredible content is on the way. Thanks for watching.